You're listening to the M.A.V show, episode number 6, Nostalgia Flashbacks. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the M.A.V show.
Yeah, baby, welcome back.
Where we talk about manga, anime, and video games. I'm your host, King Vontae, KV for short.
I'm your co-host, Lil Brother.
Little B, how you doing?
I'm alright. You know what? Just getting a lot of stuff done lately. Moving along.
All right, man. This week has been a little, I would say normal, even though this whole week I was moving. Somebody was supposed to help me with that. I ain't gonna say no names.
You didn't give specific dates and
But
times.
y'all hear his voice, though. Y'all hear his voice.
You didn't give specific time and dates.
Man, I discussed it with him like 2 weeks prior.
I can only do so much.
2 weeks prior, and he didn't want to show up. He didn't want to send a text message.
I didn't
he didn't want
to
to call nobody. I'm just like, where's the help? Where's the brotherly love?
He didn't give specific time or dates.
Man.
Whatever.
I'm looking at him crazy out because y'all can't see it, but I'm looking at him crazy.
Well, if you want to ask how my day or my week was going, it was going pretty decently. Even though I had to work the whole time. Once again, I understand that these are sensitive times, so being at work is a better thing.
I mean, a lot of people working from home, and what's crazy is everybody who I've talked to about it, nobody likes working at home no more.
And I don't understand it.
I mean,
like if somebody told me, stay home, make money, and then once you're done, you're already home.
Like, you're saving money on gas. Like, you don't gotta travel that much. I mean, it depends. Like, I'm okay most of the time. Sit inside the house. I mean, I can play video games and watch anime all day. I'm cool with that. Some other people can't handle that. Some people can't complain, and I mean, like, they complain, and like the highlight of the day is just going to the gas station. Or just going to the store for
I'm
groceries.
not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge on that one.
I'm judging because I'm laughing.
Mm.
But yeah, man. Solo Bro, I was gonna ask you what's on your queue? Cause like somebody was asking me the other day what I was reading because Solo Leveling was on break. I'm like, I kind of read like almost 20 plus mangas, just because you only get like a chapter a week, and you can consume a chapter within like 10 minutes. So you need to have like a good, like manga wise and manhwa wise, because I've been on Webtoon a lot. You need to have like a great library, because it's almost like you get to read a new manga every day just because they all come out on so many different days. A lot of them drop on Fridays, like your God of High School, your
Tower of Gods.
No, I think that's finished. I'm not sure. I'm currently reading it, so I really don't know. Your Hardcore Leveling Warrior, your One Piece, stuff like that. Like your Tales of Demons and Gods and the
Tales of Demons and Gods.
Oh my gosh, it's like my number one right now. Other than Solo Leveling Warrior, Solo Leveling, like that's my dude. Yeah, like that one drops every 3 days, 3 to 4 or 5 days. Oh gosh, I love it. But yeah, like I said, it's just having an extensive library. I was kind of asking the people that just seeing how like everybody does kind of have like a big library, and some people just kind of just read like 2 or 3 of them a week. I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, that's like reading a few chapters and just kind of, and you're like waiting until next week just to finish the book or like to continue the book. I'm like, how do you even do that? So I don't understand. But so are you like getting into new animes, or like what are you watching right now?
Well, as of right now, I kind of been staring at this anime called Killing Bites, and I'm not so sure if I'm gonna get into that. It just kind of depends.
The manga was a little different. I like the premises of it. I just don't see how a honey badger.
Somebody told me she was a mongoose, but I think it's closer to honey badger.
No, she was a honey badger, and like somebody else was like spliced with a lion, and the honey badger kind of like spliced one. And I'm just like, okay, and how like real life works. Honey badgers don't back down, and they're pretty tough. I don't care. You're not beating somebody who's like got like 500 pounds on you. Like, you're not doing it.
It could just be like a fight or flight type of thing with
like they never back down. Like they'll fight to the death. Like they don't back down. And so I'm like, okay, like I understand it. Like she's just like she won't ever back down. She's not scared. But I was like, A lot of stuff she's just kind of winning because of plot armor. I'm guessing.
Hmm. Well, like I said, that's a one that I have up on the queue for me. But as you were talking about with the whole library thing, I do have like I have like all of them chalked up into this category of my watch, my not watch, the one to watch next. It's just take time. It takes time, and unfortunately, with me working 4 days of the weekend, I know I work my weekend, so that's 3 days to watch anime. I still kind of have to manage it between work, anime, podcast, and actual life. I got to do crap outside of all this. So
So I feel you. I feel you. I'm the same way. Definitely the same way.
right,
All right. So, question of the day:
what's that?
what got you into anime?
Oh. Well, what got me into anime was probably, I'm not gonna lie, Inuyasha.
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha, because as a kid growing up, we were getting ready for school because of course we weren't allowed to stay up all night. But as we were getting ready for school, we hopping out of the shower or whatever. We get our clothes on, but we had to wait for the bus at the time. So when in the meantime before waiting for the bus, it was like I can't remember, like 6 o'clock or like 5 o'clock
We're
in
all
the
6 in the
morning.
morning.
We would put on TV, and Toonami would still be on.
Oh, yep. Channel 53, Cartoon Network if you're in the United States.
Hmm. And as Tsunami is on, it always repeats. It's like schedule. So the last thing on its schedule would be Inuyasha.
It would be.
And if you don't know Inuyasha, Inuyasha is about a girl named Kagome. She is the normal high school girl. She lives her everyday life, but her family has a well in like their backyard, and I'm I can only assume that they were rich because they had a big old house. Like
They had a nice house.
they had a nice house, enough for like a backyard and a well to be there and all that. But they had a well, and it was kind of like sealed off. She ends up like bawling through it because she was searching for something, and that well led her to not necessarily another world, but feudal Japan,
So she just went back in time.
pretty much. And it was kind of like a portal because she was able to go back and forth. But for the time being she was there, she ends up running into a half demon named Inuyasha. Inuyasha's sole goal purpose was to
His purpose was, oh yeah, to get the Shikanjo to turn himself into a full demon.
there it is.
And so from there, this is where you have the adventures of Kagome Yasha, and then added party members later on, which was Shino,
Shippo, you mean
Shippo,
Shippo? Shippo,
Shippo,
Sango,
Moroku.
Moroku.
Yeah.
Don't forget Kilala.
You can say you mean Kirara.
No,
They don't
we're
have
not
an
gonna get that. We're
they
not
don't
gonna
have an
get
L in their language.
Stop
It's
it.
Kirara.
Stop it. We're not gonna get into
Kirara.
that. Kilala. And so Kagome, she was there. It was at first she wanted to get back home, but she understood what they were going through, and it kind of turned in that she wanted to help Inuyasha and everybody.
Well, she
and-
was stuck for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like because she was able to transport back into the world, but Inuyasha I guess like got to a point where he's like, "Come back, please." Like
I mean, like, yeah, that's when they noticed, like, yo, like, we need your help because she could, like, sense or find.
that's what it was. She ended up getting like her own special traits and abilities that
Not
made
like
her
special traits and abilities, but she was like the reincarnation of Kikyo, his long-time ex-girlfriend who had sealed him to the tree with the herb, which is like, yo,
crazy. What was her name?
Kikyo.
Kikyo. Kikyo was like also a priest or something, priestess, and he's a half demon. So that's like oil and water mixing together,
It
and
really is oil and milk.
oil. Wait, what?
Oil and milk. Have you ever seen like that one weird movie? I don't. What's it called, like Save the Last Dance?
What?
All right, it's a topic for a different day. But yeah, we'll go back over that later.
What?
And they use him ever as like, oh, you're different. Like you and him is like oil and milk. You don't go together. Have you never mixed oil and milk together?
Why would I mix oil and milk?
To get the reference.
No. No, I would. Anyways,
And so yeah, so that's where that comes from. But so they were they were very two different people, even mixing up, but they made it work. I think the weirdest one kind of coming in was Sango because she was a demon hunter.
yeah. So, did she start off trying to kill Inuyasha?
Yeah, because she thought he had killed her brother.
Oh yeah, Haku.
Haku was being controlled by their evil nemesis throughout the whole entire show, Naraku.
Raku is a bad mamma jamma.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Made a deal with a spider, a demon spider, and had got 100 demons sealed inside of his body. And so from there, yeah, the whole show was based around finding the Shikon jewels shards because they were shattered. It's like 100 different pieces. So they roamed around the whole dang feudal era, searching for these Shikon jewel shards, and while fighting Raku during the time. Oh, shout out to Inuyasha's older brother during the anime though, Shishomaru. Yo, dope! Like one of the coolest characters ever.
Shishomaru honestly is a top tier character. If we were gonna have a tier list,
Oh, we gotta explain. We're gonna have to explain this tier list in a different episode, just because like we were talking about it last night and how we were like going from it, like how it would be a S, A, B, C, D.
possibly an F. We're gonna get into that though.
Oh yeah, and what was that one show called again? Bafumi.
Bafumi,
Bafumi.
the bash of the week about what 3 episodes ago.
Oh my gosh, that's an F. That whole anime series, I don't even care. It's an F.
An F.
Trash.
And there's a certain someone in the room, and I'm looking at him, and he knows how I feel about it.
Trash. He's still not his.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him be though.
But, yeah. And so, kind of going to scale, Shishomaru would be like around a B. No, not a B, like a C.
No, and I feel like we really have to get into this list a bit more. Well, we consider A tier characters because if you're S tier, you can destroy the whole like cosmos and planets and stuff like that.
I would say S tier. We're putting them between god levels.
Right, and A tiers is like you can basically rearrange a map.
Destroy continents, stuff like that, maybe even planets.
And then B tiers are, like just guys who are power skills. You could destroy mountains and crap.
Yeah.
But, as to wind it back though, Shishomaru himself is a great character because it's like, most characters have rivals, and Inuyasha has a rival in here being a half-wolf demon dude named...
Half-wolf? Oh, Koga?
Koga, thank you.
Yeah, Koga.
Yeah,
well, Koga wasn't really his rival. He appeared and disappeared a lot.
But he loved Kagome, and Inuyasha, he never put it out that he loved Kagome too, but you could see that he loved Kagome.
He was crushing on Kagome a lot.
And anytime Koga got near Kagome, he's like, Kagome, I confess my love to you. And Inuyasha like, hold on, wolf boy, back that stuff up, all right? She don't love you. But she never said no. That's the thing. She never said no.
She never said yes.
That's also true.
I mean, yeah. And he would always counter, what do you say, dog breath? Oh my gosh. That was a funny.
But like you said, he wasn't really a rival because he kept disappearing a lot. So to me, Shishomaru was the perfect rival. Yeah. They both were, they ended up like they both were going after the same goal from time to time. And mainly it was like, did Shishomaru go for jewel shards?
No. That was not his goal. He was just going around, possibly run into little small mishaps here and there. Just to make his sword stronger, because remember how his sword, the Tenseiga, couldn't kill nobody. It could only bring people back to life.
Right.
And so he always felt like he had a useless sword.
Right, and he always wanted Inuyasha's sword, which was the Tenseiga.
Yep.
And the Tenseiga and Tenseiga are both swords made from
his father's tooth.
His father's tooth.
Well, the father's teeth, plural. I think that's kind of really
interesting. Tooth. I'm sorry, tooth, because remember.
Well, you got teeth. Well, if it's two of them, it's teeth.
No. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like, yeah, it was a single tooth because he grew up to their dad was a demon, so he got huge, so they only needed one tooth. I thought you were talking about like they needed multiple teeth just to make the sword.
No. It was just one tooth, like a part, but it's teeth.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and so I totally lost my train of thought.
Shishomaru basically wanted this sword because he was wanted to be a powerful demon.
Yeah.
And he's not a half demon.
No, Shishomaru's a full demon.
And so Inuyasha and Shishomaru share different moms.
Yes, they do.
Same dad, different moms. I'm assuming that Shishomaru, because you never see Shishomaru's mom. No. Let alone, you see Inuyasha's mom.
Did you?
It's like in a flashback though. And remember that one demon that was pretending to be his mom?
Oh, yeah. But so you started seeing the flashbacks about his mom when you learned that every full moon he'll go back to being completely human and his hair will turn from the silver or white color to black. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my god.
And he would lose his dog ears.
Yeah, he would lose his ears and everything. He would just look completely human. He would look so funny. I'm like, dude, why do you look so different? It almost like he has like a wig on.
Yeah, because you're so used to seeing Inuyasha in this total red outfit with the dog ears and white hair, flowing locks, and that's usually him. So when you see some dude who walks in with black hair and all that, and it's like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
Then all
Yeah.
his friends like,
Like,
yo,
yo,
where's Inuyasha?
yeah. He's like, I'm right here. Yeah. Yeah. But so for myself, uh, I think I really start like I didn't even notice at the time, but from Kids WB, when
Mm,
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh used to come on.
mm.
So even though I didn't know at the time that they came from Japan, those are technically considered animes.
Right, and I had to like go over this with some people from time to time because they're like, "Well, I didn't really watch cartoons. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh." I'm like, "Well, and I didn't really watch anime. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh." Like, well, technically, you did watch anime because Yu-Gi-Oh's an anime.
Yu-Gi-Oh's an anime. Pokemon is an anime.
Dragon Ball Z is an anime. Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, just a handful of these old cartoons that you used to watch. Beyblade's an anime.
Beyblade's an anime?
Beyblade is an anime. Digimon's an anime.
I know Digimon was. I'm like, yeah, like it was weird. A lot of different kid show cartoons were actually a lot of animes that were just played here. So unless you're like, depending on nighttime, Toonami on Channel 53 on Cartoon Network, a lot of the stuff that a lot of other kids were always into, was shows from Japan. It was crazy. And
Right.
yeah, like I said, with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, I think those were some of my earliest ones until I started seeing like Dragon Ball Z.
So say you're picking two of them.
For my first ones, yeah. Can I say because Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were kind of around the same time. Not necessarily. One probably came before the other.
I think
But
Pokemon came first.
yeah, probably did. But they were right around the same time.
Because I always tell people there's the big three that got Americans into anime, and that was Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, and Pokemon. Those all three of them aired around the same exact time, and when they were being produced out, they got a big old margin of people just floating, gravitating towards it.
And this is definitely from like the 1990s, like 1995 era.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this was definitely like I said, Dragon Ball Z came back out like way back there. Pokemon did. Sailor Moon. Yu-Gi-Oh was probably like you said after Pokemon.
All right, let's chop this up by one. So for the people, which I don't know how you wouldn't know by now, but for those who do not know, really, give a quick synopsis of Pokemon.
A boy named Ash Ketchum goes around tries to catch Pokemon because he wants to be the number one.
That's
we're gonna make
what
this
are
quick.
Pokemon? What are Pokemon?
Any and all Pokemon.
What
Like,
are Pokemon?
Pokemon are
Pocket monsters. They are pocket monsters. That's the way they translate
Really?
in Japanese.
pocket monsters.
Pocket monsters. Even though you don't put them in your pocket, you put them into these little red and white spheres called.
Technically, well, they would have them on a belt, so you can.
Is
say
a
pocket.
belt your pocket? That's what I thought. You put them in these red or white spheres called Pokeballs.
Yes, you would. I would think like some people had them in their pocket. If you didn't have like the little trainer belt, you had them in your pocket.
If you didn't have them in a trainer belt, then you weren't a trainer. You were a C class citizen who likes to mess around with Pokemon from time to time. If you're a trainer like Ash, you got the Poke Belt.
Yeah. Truthfully, I only like the first season, maybe second season. I usually refer to them as like the video game parts. So like
Okay.
the first season, if you play the video games of Pokemon, it was red, blue,
In green.
red, blue, and green, and yellow.
In yellow. Yellow was the one where
So yellow-
Pikachu was the cover of it.
Yeah, so so in yellow was like a special one where Pikachu was outside the Pokeball and it actually followed you everywhere.
That's right.
I don't think you can ever get rid of Pikachu in that one too.
I don't think you could either. Like, you have a starter Pokemon. Was he your starter Pokemon?
I think so. It was kind of weird. I don't know. Well, I don't really remember too much about it. But yeah, Pikachu like was always out. I also remember Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
Yo,
Love
Pokemon Stadium was the stuff. Like Pokemon, like just, it was also crazy if you had like a little adapter charge, for your Nintendo 64. Under it, you could actually play your Pokemon.
That's right. You could hook the Game Boy up to the Nintendo 64 and play it that way.
Not the Game Boy, but like the little
The
cartridge.
little sorry.
Yeah.
Not the Game Boy itself, but the little cartridges that you put into the Game Boy.
Hook it up into the controller, and the special edition on that was you could times 2 the game, so you would just zoom around.
Oh my
And so that's what
gosh.
I was like, yo, I used to just could kill the game, like just 10 times quicker. It just made everything so much quicker
Jesus, that's
playing
why
it
this
on
episode
Pokemon
is named
Stadium.
Nostalgia, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going back in memory lane. Remember Giovanni?
Oh yeah, the original bad guy. Like, so first off, a lot of people don't like. A lot of people don't remember the original bad guys like Team Rocket.
Team
Like, so
Rocket.
Team Rocket is kind of always still there. I don't
Hmm.
know how these people ain't like never gave up, even though they taken like at least a
they
million L's.
they are the crown holders of the L. They own L's.
Like, I don't know how season after season, years after years, decades after decades, y'all just still want to keep taking these L's, man.
Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Ching! Yo, that part I used to always just want to hear that part again. That little ching, like a little star
Oh
in the
my
sky.
gosh.
I'm like, yo,
And if you don't know, Team Rocket is a group of just bad people who love to steal Pokemon and use them for
and for
whatever
some reason
purposes.
they just wanted Pikachu so badly.
They
Like,
wanted Ash Pikachu because Ash's Pikachu was Ash's Pikachu. He was just so overpowered for some reason.
he wasn't overpowered.
Which is another weird thing because it's like they saw him as overpowered, but he would lose every other battle.
Yeah, like Pikachu wasn't anything really special all the time. Like
Other
he
than
wasn't.
other than he was your more your Pikachu with more awareness, I guess.
Yeah,
He was very interactive with people.
yeah, I can say that. I would agree with that. And then so to kind of switch over a little bit, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
And so with Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like cards wise, Yu-Gi-Oh was a lot more popular than Pokemon. So Pokemon definitely dominated like the game space. Yes. So Pokemon definitely dominated the game space ish back then. But
Yeah,
like
because people weren't into Pokemon cards as to
people
they
still
were.
they love the whole Pokemon cards thing. But to me, a lot Yu-Gi-Oh cards was just so much easier to get into.
Uh-huh.
Like everywhere I went, like as a kid, everybody always had Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Just to play and like there was tournaments too everywhere back when I was a kid for the whole Yu-Gi-Oh cards thing.
So once again, Yu-Gi-Oh is a anime about a young man wanting to be the duel master per se, or just be the very best at duel cards, almost like Pokemon. But he ends up getting an item called a Millennium Puzzle, and the Millennium Puzzle has the ability to connect him to his ancestor, who so happens to be named Yu-Gi-Oh, which means King of Games.
So was he his actual ancestor, or was Yugi's spirit just trapped in the Millennium Puzzle?
No, it was his actual ancestor.
Really?
Remember, Kaiba had ancestors, even Joey and all them, but
They don't look
Joey and
like
all
them.
them.
They don't look like them. I'm all like, yo, these are not really their ancestors. You're just saying these like everybody look like each other. They're not really your ancestors.
Well, that was always a thing with like everything. It's like you tend to look a lot like your ancestors. Even in Fairy Tale, Lucy looks like her ancestors.
I mean, so when you keep mixing between two different, like to me, there's only so much you can't really look like your ancestors like that.
You shouldn't be like a drop dead like look alike to your ancestor. You really shouldn't be. But
Certain features, I'm okay with that.
yeah,
Drop deads, no.
yeah, no, like there's a lot of like interpretations where people see your ancestor as just like that's where you get your looks from.
Yeah, most definitely.
But Yami is stuck into this Millennium Puzzle, and every so often when Yugi gets into a duel, Yami comes out and helps him with the game.
Yeah.
Although technically, that's cheating.
Mm, sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh's transforming you like 10 years into the future. Yu-Gi-Oh!
But
Girl comes out, kicks everybody's butt.
yeah, and so as you go further into the show, you just see Yugi. His game gets better. His knowledge of the cards become better, and eventually, he's pretty much by the end of it the king of games.
I mean, yeah, but what was the whole main focus of that show?
Really, it was just to play duel monsters.
I mean, I know at the end they had to fight. What was the guy's name? Kai. I'm not talking about the dude with the blue eyes.
Seto Kaiba,
Blue eyes white dragon dude.
Pegasus,
Not Pegasus. Pegasus.
Merrick.
I think his name was Merrick. Yeah, because remember how he had something like that 5-headed dragon at the end or something?
That wasn't Merrick who had that. Was that Merrick? Okay, I think it was Merrick. I think it was
Exactly.
Merrick. Yeah, Merrick was a later in the show protagonist, and he basically antagonist. Sorry, he basically was the problem. He wanted basically to rule the world through using dual monsters
Or
and
like
their
the dark energy, something, 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 something.
so he can like send you to the Shadow Realm, and the Shadow Realm was basically hell.
Yeah, yeah, we could go there and say that. And so that's where it kind of really centered around. Yu-Gi-Oh was really simple. It was just people battling against each other, using monsters, and it wasn't like it wasn't like life or death type of thing.
Roll that back. The
Well,
Shadow Realm, like I said, is basically you getting sent to hell.
okay, that was like really later on, and when they were playing for like these super hyped up stakes later on, versus at the beginning, it was just like tournaments after tournaments after tournaments, and then except for when Pegasus came around, he had to go and save what was it called, Homeboy's kid, yeah, Mokuba. And what was the dude's name?
Pegasus
No,
or
no, no,
who?
no, no. Mokuba's older brother,
Seto Kaiba.
Kaiba. Oh, so you know his full name, Seto Kaiba.
They're either the Kaiba Corporation, Mokuba Kaiba, yeah.
Yeah, Kyra. And like I said, Kyra was Yugi's rival during the whole entire thing too.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the staple of the Blue Eyes White Dragon came from.
Question:
What?
when's the last time you actually sat down and watched Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, just be straight up with me. Last time you sat down and watched like a few episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh, like the original Generation 1.
15 years ago?
10, 15 years ago. If you look back at it now, that is so finicky and just out of place and weird. And people borderline died in a lot of these episodes.
What do you mean?
Like, remember when Yugi or Pegasus trapped Yugi's grandpa into like the Shadow Realm or into a card or something like that?
Oh, Pegasus did that? Yeah, like you trapped him in a card or something using the Millennial Eye.
Remember when Seto Kaiba stole the Blue Eyes White Dragon and basically hospitalized Yugi's grandpa?
Oh, wow.
Remember when Kaiba killed 2 people of Pegasus's guards?
Did he?
This anime is dark.
I mean, the crazy part is, like, they used to make, how do I say, they used to make the energy, because remember how, like, they used to have like these dual disc, and you have to use technology to summon the monsters or whatever. But like the blowback, or like when they attach your light points directly, you would feel pain.
Right.
And so a lot of people like would become unconscious afterwards or something.
Right.
I'm like, how safe is this stuff for everybody to be playing with it?
Exactly.
Like I'm questioning the safety concerns.
Exactly. That's when it becomes like finicky. Like, I mean, like, is this a game of life or death, or is this just a children's card game as to where people say that it is?
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean.
But overall, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, those are like nostalgia points, right?
Yeah, and so that was like kind of early and starting off. So like the next phase of it really went into like when you start really paying attention to Toonami.
Toonami was a gateway to anime, pretty much.
So I think that was like the actual gateway, because like I said, with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, you really didn't know. Like you didn't know that they were called animes, that they were they were cartoons from Japan.
Most definitely.
And so, but
if you even knew that.
Yeah, and so, but when you saw Toonami, when you seen Toonami, you were like, "What is this stuff? Like, what are these type of cartoons?" Because
you were introduced into so many more animes at that time.
Yeah, and so from there, like the animations were different, the stories were different, and what a lot of people still don't understand, even me, people are like, "Why do you like watching those cartoons?" Not cartoons, they're animes, and plus, like from back then, you could tell. Like, they weren't geared towards kids. Like, the storylines, the characters, the language they used, they weren't necessarily geared towards kids.
It was definitely a step up from Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, any of those. It was a different feel. It was a different animation style. It was just so different.
Everything about them was different. And so...
Granted, it was 2D animation style. It still looked like cartoons, but it was like a border of difference. Like, it was just 2 different things.
Yeah. And so what Toonami had was Inuyasha. They had Big O. They had Cowboy Bebop. They had
Outlaw Star.
I've never seen that one, though.
Me neither. but I know people we're getting looks, by the way.
From a small audience of a friend.
But Outlaw Star, I at least heard about it, and from the premise of it, it was cool. They were just kind of like something with the guns and the bullets being them powerful or something like that. It was an interesting plot. I have to go back and watch it. It's on Hulu.
Oh, okay. I also gotta say that Sailor Moon too back then, even though that was more that was showed to be cartoon versus the anime side.
It was an
Fully
anime.
Cooley too was
It
back
was
then.
Yeah, it was definitely an anime aimed towards like the female population. So shoujo.
Oh, Shoujo. Yeah, but it was still dope. Like I was still into Sailor Moon back then. Like it was a pretty dope show.
And like you said, Fully Cooley. Fully Cooley was something to behold. That was something in its own. It was anime. Don't get me wrong, but
Fully Cooley was so weird.
I forgot what it actually translates to, but I don't think it was anything like good.
I don't know. It was just weird how some type of alien came crashing down, and this kid was getting affected by it. This girl was
His
trying to capture the alien, and
his forehead basically was a portal for like demons or whatever.
I don't know. I don't remember. Like I got a friend who's like he loves his anime, and it's his favorite of all time.
Fully Cooley?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I'm like, why Fully Cooley? Like, you got like, there's so many others, but you want to choose Fully Cooley? Like,
I mean, no judgment, but there's so many others.
no, I'm judging. Like, I look at him like, no, I'm going to judge you a little bit, maybe. I'm like, yo, to each his own. But gosh, man,
And it
Fully
was
Cooley.
so all over the place. Like I didn't know where it ended at.
It ended where, once again, like whatever alien or something, some other world, like came to the planet, was then leaving again, and the girl was like, "Well, I'm leaving to chase after it again."
That's
See
how
ya.
it ended.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
wow.
only like 4 to 8 episodes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't really like a long anime. I heard it's supposed to begin a second season, or
I heard something about that too.
yeah, or if it didn't already came out, I don't know.
But animes like that, Evangelion was one of the big one. Samurai 7 didn't come until later though, did it?
I think that was the later one.
But the point of it is just like with the help of like Toonami and even Kids WB for kids, even though that's a terrible platform. Uh, these animes were able to like shine through the cracks and be what they are today and start what they have started today, a whole anime kingdom.
Yeah, and like I said, thanks to these platforms, Americans was actually able to really see it.
Mm-hmm.
Was really able to experience it and to get into that culture.
Because I've been definitely told before, at least like before our generation, the generation before when they were trying to watch anime, they would have to jump through hoops and climb ladders just to even get a decent subbed anime. It was like impossible because of course, like in Japan, when you're watching anime, you don't watch subbed. You're just watching.
Yeah,
You're just watching it
because you understand Japanese, and it's like we were like when we were watching TV down here. We don't need subtitles when they're speaking English. So with those platforms, anime became possible to watch. It became accessible.
most definitely.
Like I said, it was just all because of them wanting to try it and show. Like we got lucky.
True, they didn't have to accept those platforms. They didn't have to accept those shows.
Yeah, like I said, I think we definitely got lucky with just like I said, just those networks willing to give anime a try.
So thank you to all those ones, Kids WB, Toonami, and such like that.
Yeah,
But
Cartoon Network.
I got a question for you now.
What's up?
So where did manga step into this picture?
So back when we were kids, remember Grandma's house? She used to have the library right there.
Yep.
I think
You could only take like 100 steps and you'd be there.
maybe even a lot lesser than that. Going there, I think that was really when I first started reading manga. Like that right there. Because at first when I noticed them, they just looked kind of like comic books,
Mhm.
but a lot of them were just in black and white. And so
That's true.
yeah, black and white turned me off a little bit. But I'm like, you know what? Like I like the cover art. The cover art looked good.
I was gonna say that
And
too.
then getting into it, that's where I really got into it. But even then, I wasn't really into manga.
Of course, because I'm not so sure because I know you're a reader now, but at least for me, I was never the reader. But even reading that, and call it because I was a kid and I liked pictures in my books, I liked reading manga back then. I liked mainly scrolling through it and seeing all the action scenes, but now and again I would read through it and I see that this is something different. This isn't like your average day book or even like a fiction book that schools and stuff try to get you into.
Yeah, most schools really didn't try to get you. They didn't try to get you into anime or
Of
like
course
comic
not.
books. Yeah, they were on some educational stuff.
Here's this non-fictional book that's a documentary on the such and such life of the
Get that trash out of my face.
right.
Yeah, but yeah, like so. I think one of my first mangas I've ever read was one called Subasa. If I'm saying,
I
if
think I
I'm
remember
saying,
that.
if I'm saying the name right, it's like Subasa. It's SCBUA something something something.
Mm.
Like, yeah, it's like it's
The
really
name
in
sounds
the
familiar, at least how you're saying it.
yeah, and it was about this guy. I don't I don't remember half the people's name, and so it's about a guy him like he's what are those people who like called like who dig up ruins and everything?
Gravediggers.
No.
Gravediggers is a perfect
no,
one.
that's a Tomb Raider. I think the word we're looking for is archaeologist.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I said the whole time. Archaeologist.
But yeah, so like he was an archaeologist. Him and his, I guess, dad was going down there researching ruins and stuff. And his best friend was Princess Sakura, and she's a princess. Has an older brother who's the king, and they're just best friends. So one day in some different world or universe, or no, he actually goes down to the ruins, activates some type of thing in the ruins, some type of mechanism, and splits Sakura's memories or something. The crazy part is I've never finished this manga. I definitely need to, and I think they made an anime out of it too.
Subasa.
Subasa.
I'm gonna scour the internet and I'm gonna look this up
Okay.
because that sounds interesting. And I know for me personally, probably some of the first stuff, and it's weird that it is some of the first stuff, but Naruto is probably the first stuff that I actually remember sitting down and actually picking up and trying to read.
Really?
hmm They had, arguably to me at least, the best cover art at the time because Naruto would always be active in the cover art. He'd always be like jumping over something. He would have like, like always a scroll on his back doing the jutsus or something like that. He would
Oh
always be
yeah.
something crazy.
You know, like this big giant scroll on his back. I'm like, I've never seen him actually have one of those in the
Other
show.
than in that like first 3 episodes.
Like, and from then on, like, I feel like the cover art was not. I mean, it made
Misleading.
Yeah, it was like slightly misleading because they wasn't doing everything they're doing in the cover art. So I'm like, man, what's all this other cool stuff? Like they have like these big giant shurikens and I don't know, man.
They overplayed that shuriken thing a lot because it seemed like everybody was going to use a giant shuriken. Only people I've seen use it is probably the two dudes who would guard Sasuke, the two dudes who would guard the gates of the Leaf Village. Other than that, I don't see nobody use a giant shuriken like that or a throwing star.
And you only really remember it when they went and fought Zabuza and them on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I can actively remember right now.
That's because they did it so coldly. Like they did a whole move where Sasuke threw the Demon Wind Shuriken because as Zabuza because he like was holding Kakashi in this water ball or whatever, and it was like, oh, he can't move, so he'll be open for an attack. Sasuke throws it at him, dude jumps it, and then Naruto transforms out of the Shuriken, throws a kunai at him, and it was like that was a cold combo.
That was a cold combo. Oh yeah, you got to give it up for like the old school teamwork of those two. Hey, real quick.
Oh.
Guess who's in the background not doing a darn thing?
Sakura, you useless piece of garbage.
Even back in the day, what was she doing? Just sitting there.
Useless.
Useless. Ain't doing nothing.
Oh god! Please watch Naruto if you haven't seen it, so you can understand what we're talking about.
Oh man,
Sakura.
Oh my gosh, yo! Even back then, what's crazy is she used to have better control of her chakra versus those two, but I mean the crazy part is like she sucked. I'm like
just at the end of it, at the end of
like
the day,
when they were starting off to be better than them, and then for them just to to take off on her. I'm just so
They really
surprised.
did. Within that year that Naruto left, huh?
Not even left. So no. So even before that time, like right when they came back, you started seeing the gap during the little tuning exams. You started seeing the gap
Oh yeah.
when all the fights and stuff were happening. When even Naruto started coming up with, like, okay, Naruto, I didn't expect that from you.
And Heike, Heavenly Controller is a YouTuber, and he recently did a video on this, and I guess he was trying to defend her, but no, it kind of ended up as a no, dude, she's useless.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she's the medic ninja, and that's she's not necessarily supposed to have a big fighting role.
Right.
So long as she heals, she's doing her job. So and I'll get off her back on that one. I'll get off her back on that one. But let me see. I'm trying to think. What else did I used to read back then? So I think one of the other first manga, and this was like a couple years after Tsubasa, what really got me back into really reading a lot. This was during like almost high school years, so this was almost like good 3 to 4 years later. Was Fairy Tail.
Really?
Fairy Tail was what got me into reading manga heavily. Like I was actively reading manga. Like it was really because of Fairy Tail.
Fairy Tail is a pretty good anime after the tournament arc.
No.
Or right when it gets to the tournament arc,
So
it's
I'm
pretty
not
good.
gonna lie. The beginning, it really was goofy and
Cheesy.
and it was hard to catch on in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people, I can see how a lot of people would drop off into it. And what's crazy is I've even heard someone let the sound come out of their mouth. Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins is the exact same thing,
They're
but
not.
Seven Deadly Sins was better.
What?
Yep. And so,
What?
like it was. Hey, after half of them said they didn't really watch it, I just thought it was cool. But if you haven't seen Fairy Tail, guys, I really consider it one of the big four. Like, a lot of people say the big three: Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. I believe Fairy Tail definitely should have its.
Question. Sorry to interrupt you, but did the manga hold up as well as the anime does?
It was a lot less silly.
Okay.
So personally, it felt a lot less silly than the actual TV shows, and I think that's why I kind of liked it a little bit more. Even going forward, reading it, like I've only really go back to the manga on a lot of different things. Like even with reading, like going through One Piece right now, I only watch the anime One Piece like for like certain fight scenes. Other than that, I just always read the manga for 90% of everything.
I don't know. That still blows my mind how it was back then when we were first getting into anime. The manga was present, and it's still going on today.
For One Piece.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm still curious because there's so much content. There's so many characters in there that it.
Out of the big three, that's the one that's still going.
I seen a funny meme that says there was a guy standing over a tombstone laughing. You had like Naruto, Bleach, Fairy Tail, like, and it was for some reason it had DBZ there too, and had like One Piece laughing at him. I'm like, oh, that is so messed up. That is so messed up. But yeah, like if you guys haven't watched Fairy Tail, man, yo, go out there and give it a try. Like it was really phenomenal. First off, it's ended. I mean, what I was really surprised is they came back and did like, I would say like a small sequel. They're not necessarily. You could say they continued it, but to me, it's almost like a sequel.
Okay.
And it concerns like right where they left off after the 100-year quest, where basically there's been this quest for 100 years that nobody's done, and so it also kind of goes. No, it doesn't go there. It has a lot of interesting things there.
Okay.
And so I'm definitely enjoying it very, very much, and how they're supposed to defeat some of the bad guys. I'm just really like, this is really going to be fun to read/watch.
All right. But as far as like manga, me personally, that's where like my whole mind came from. I know people have once again had to jump through like flaming hoops and rings and stuff because just trying to get this stuff, trying to get anime, trying to get manga was a lot more difficult back then. And as to it is now, it's in like at least for us, it was in libraries,
Yeah, and like I said, thank God for apps now or websites where you can just go read it. Because back then, even without libraries, I probably would have never found them.
right?
Like you would like it wasn't like it was in stores or anything. Like in the stores we have down there, it wasn't like that.
Mm.
Mm,
But we both have the thing that I mean, we have anime in common, but I'm more of an anime person. You're more of a manga person. But what's one thing that we definitely have in common that goes back since we were kids? Video games. You look stuck there for a second.
I'm like I don't know, the same mama, the same diaper, or something. I don't know.
Video games.
Video
What's of
games.
course it's on our website too, mavericks.com. And shameless plug. What, what's the one video game that we have in common that's listed as our favorite?
Final Fantasy X.
Final Fantasy X. Baby, every time I hear about it,
Oh yeah.
every time I hear about it, that the one scene probably from Final Fantasy that I think of is the like one of the first one where Titus is laying in like the Blitzball arena, and he's just like thinking or like relaxing or sleeping, and out of nowhere you hear the rock music drop, and then the Blitzball arena started going. Ah. Okay, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yo, like yeah.
Other
So
Worlds is that song, by the way.
really?
Other World.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so Final Fantasy, man, easily our number one. I definitely know for mine, and it's definitely for yours. That's definitely just man.
We could have a whole episode just explaining this.
Oh yes, definitely. But so just so we won't go there. Ones even before that, like I would say would be like the Pokemon games. To kind of go back there a little bit. Even earlier ones on the Final Fantasy X would be Pokemon games, Red, Blue, Green, Yellow, and then Silver and Gold.
You mean like they had to introduce like the green emerald or
No. So definitely sometime before those, like the Sapphire and Ruby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought those came before gold and silver.
no. Gold and Silver was Johto region.
Was it?
Yes, that's when Ho Ho and Lugia and them came through.
That's true. Okay.
Also, when the three legendary dogs were also kind of brought in.
Entei,
It was Entei, Raikou, and Suicune.
beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, Suicune is probably like one of my favorite legendary Pokemon. Suicune, yeah. Suicune was.
Entei had a whole movie to himself. You want to say Suicune?
Suicune was a look at Suicune had the guest star in Pokemon Forever, the fourth movie, and he was just so cool.
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Okay,
Never seen it.
I'm gonna resist the urge to slap you right now. Okay,
Never seen it.
I just wanna. I'm gonna go ahead and digress. Yes, the games were everywhere. You couldn't like have a Game Boy and not have any other Pokemon games because it was impossible to like not hear about. And then it was very popular because you could trade between friends if you had like the cords and all that. You could trade your Pokemon.
Yep.
And
Also, if you had the Final Fantasy games. Final
could
Fantasy,
you?
Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Advance.
What would you trade in there?
You would trade different characters that you will level up.
Oh, nice.
So I just need the cord, but I already have two. I still have two Game Boys. I still have two Game Boy Advances. I just need like the cord just to charge it and like the cord to connect. Oh my god, I would probably take like a week or two and just have fun with that stuff again.
And even like how we were talking about Pokemon earlier, even Pokemon Stadium was like probably one of the biggest games that I, or even our sister would play all the time. Like it was so awesome just because you can play with your friends in like this little area play arena that you had and that you would also compete in or do whatever. You can fight against your friends in actual Pokemon battles. You could go against this tournament style arc, and then you can go against the Elite Four. It was just like a game that just gave you so many options to do and just have fun with. That Pokemon in itself is the nostalgic game to play.
It really was. It really was.
And if not that, for me personally, the first game I remember having like that I can own. First of all, it was the PlayStation 1,
Yeah.
and then mom bought me Spyro, the Year of the Dragon.
Ooh, we had to go around collecting all the eggs and
Which,
everything.
by the way, I did buy the Master remake for it, baby.
Did you enjoy the Master remake?
Yeah, it was fun. It was like how I used to remember it.
So was there any like how do I say it?
Any
Was there any
drawbacks?
yeah, like was there any dropbacks to Spyro back then or even now for the remake?
Um, no, other than like you it video games were different back then. Video games controls and stuff were harder to work with. So or shall I say they didn't have as much as and I'll make a comparison right here. The newest God of War, how I was explaining this to someone a little bit like a few weeks ago. God of War had a thing for me personally where every button on your controller did something. The the like left bumper was like his shield. The trigger to that did something. The both triggers were like a power up. Another trigger was for his axe. The buttons themselves were punches. Like every button did something on there. As to where Spyro only like circle is like a dash and like square is to hit people. Actually, circle was to breathe fire. Sorry, and then square was to like dash and headbutt people and
X was to jump and
that was it.
another for triangle?
Not that I remember. It was just like there's not that many stuff to work with, and that's okay. It's a different time and a different style.
It's alright. I see what you mean. I never see what you mean. So another old school one that we also played, Jack and Dexter.
Jack and Dexter, the little lovable ocelot.
So what's also crazy when it comes to Jack and Dexter, I started from number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I started right in the middle of it, and I'm like, yo, instantly fell in love.
Of course.
And then I had to go back and play number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed number 1. I enjoyed the correlation between those two.
Went back to play 2.
Yep. Then played 2 again. And then when 3 came out, I was like, oh my god, this is one of the best video game trilogies ever.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people are gonna say Ratchet and Clank were better.
I've never played Ratchet. So Ratchet and Clank was also back then, and so was Sly Cooper.
Mm-hmm. My friend, shout out to my boy Edward. He listens to the podcast too. He was like last week trying to just what was that one game with the raccoon and the turtle and he had like a staff or something like that and you go drive around. I'm like, are you talking about Sly Cooper? That's the one, Sly Cooper. I'm like, bro. He was just so excited about that.
Yeah, like so both of those other 2 games, Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper, also was great trilogy games. But I didn't play those until later on in life.
Yeah, I remember one time we were playing with our cousin at his place.
Yeah, so I didn't really touch those until the remastered editions, and I was like, wow, I really missed out on these games as a kid.
Probably, yeah. I know a lot of people like Sly Cooper. Once again, dialing back to Ratchet and Clank, that was probably out of those like companion games or like adventure games. Ratchet and Clank was probably like the top gun in its own class because I guess people just liked it more. It had a whole movie to itself.
Yeah, it did. I mean, if you had to compare Jack and Dexter versus Ratchet and Clank, I'd preferably choose Jack and Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more maturity to it, but Ratchet and Clank just appealed to a wider audience.
They did cuss in that game, didn't they?
They did cuss. They cussed, and well, they didn't heavily cuss like that, but they did. You know, it was for more of adult teenish,
Right.
Like you you gotta have more of a teen with it. Like I said to me, the story was a lot better.
Right.
You know, just between the twists and turns and just understanding everybody, the emotions in it. I love Jack and Dexter a lot.
And then they had the spin-off game. They had 2. You knew, and I knew of Jack X, right?
Yes, the little speed racing part.
Yeah, and that was decent. But then they also have a different one where they go into space.
Really?
My boy Brian keeps telling me about it, and I've never heard of it, nor have I seen it.
Same here. Like I've never heard of another one they go into space.
But once again, I just downloaded the Jack series on the PS4, so now I'm gonna probably look for it again and see if they got that last little game out there.
Yeah. Also, another one that also was a trilogy that started from number 2 and then went back and played number 1. Dante.
Oh, Devil May Cry.
Yep.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry. So,
It's funny because I always thought that one was number one.
really? Which
Wait,
one?
no. Okay, I did. I remember playing number one first. I never played two.
You never played 2?
I never
So
played two.
2 was a lot better to me than number 1. Just because the Devil Trigger was... You could change... So in that one, you changed the Devil Trigger by changing, like, these little accessories that you had. And so you was either, like, quicker... Like, part of it was elementalish, and then, like, some of them make you quicker, some of them make you stronger, and other ones let you fly.
Oh.
And so that's what really...
Was Virgil in there as well?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I don't think he was in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't really like hear about him in the second one. The third one, we already know he was. But the only thing that the problem Devil May Cry had, he progressed, but like they can never get the storyline right.
Really?
Yeah. So from number 1 to number 2, it seemed like storyline could have progressed a little bit, but the number. What was it? Number 3. They kind of wanted to redo it a little bit, where like how he got his Devil Trigger again and all this other type of stuff.
Pretty much that whole game was just about him climbing a tower.
Yeah, I mean stopping from the worlds colliding or coming together.
That's weird. He's a demon. He's a demon hunter, but he's a demon himself, and
he's half and half. Because his mom.
He's half.
Yeah.
So that brings me back to because I've always compared the two. I compared Devil May Cry, Dante and Virgil, who are the brothers in there, always to Inuyasha, Inuyasha and Shishomaru.
But the crazy part is with Dante and Virgil, they're both half. Like, Virgil's
They're both half?
They're both half. Because they're twins.
That is... I kind of forget that. For some reason, I always thought that Virgil was the full demon.
Shout out to the end of Devil May Cry 3 when they both used a gun and it was like, you know what? He's like, I'll do it your way for once. Grabs the gun and they both say, jackpot. And both shoot the guy at the same time. I'm like, yo, one of the coolest like brother moment in video games ever. Like, I love that moment really a lot.
It was funny too because you're up there fighting you're Dante fighting Virgil, and it was raining at the time. And Virgil usually has his hair spiked up, but when it's raining, it kind of like lays down his hair, so they actually look like twins.
Yeah, like I said, even that whole fight scene. Also, to be able to use Virgil 2 in number 3 and to play with his devil triggers as well, like it was really really fun. So I definitely enjoyed that with those games.
Did you play any of the other ones after that?
I think I played maybe 1 or 2 more. I didn't play one where they were like the teenagers. I played Devil May Cry 4 with Nero in it, and then I'm guessing there was another one that came out this year or last year, and I haven't played that one.
That's DMC 5.
Yeah,
actually, I won't say DMC because it's called Devil May Cry 5. DMC is the one I think you're thinking of, how they were teenagers. That's basically, they're the same characters, but they're basically remade. Like, that Dante isn't the Dante that we're used to. It's like a whole new dude. And him and Virgil aren't brothers in there.
Really?
I've gotten halfway through that game. I still got to finish it. I didn't really care for it, though. It was weird because the plot of it was, Dante ends up in limbo, I believe, for a minute. So that's how he kind of gets introduced into this whole devil fighting society or something like that. But he's Dante before, so he was always a fighter. He always like fights demons. But as you go on to the series, Virgil is like the leader of this demon hunting society or syndicate or whatever it is, and he basically assigns you your missions. You go out, you fight demons. By the end of it, I believe, because somebody let me know what it was, Virgil was only using you for his own gain. He basically had you collect these items that made him powerful or something like that, and then I believe you kill Virgil by the end of it.
Oh, wow. And so, once again, like I said, my main problem with the whole Devil May Cry franchise, they couldn't stick to a storyline and then had each sequential ones, make sense. Like, none of them really, made sense. You see Dante kind of get older between 3, 4, and 5. Like, you see him get older, and you can tell, yo, you're slowing down there, Batman. But you're slowing down. But there was really no continuing storyline. And I'm thinking, there's only so many times you can kill so many demons, and how many bad guys can kind of keep coming to where you're like, you know what? I'm not in this business no more. You can always have love for the business, and you can go out guns blazing.
Right.
But gosh, take an apprentice and sit and chill down, sit somewhere, bro.
All right, I'd be wrong if I didn't include this one because I know a lot of people are fans of it. The Call of Duty series in general, like
I never played Call of Duty when I
I,
was a
I,
kid.
I know, I know.
We're not gonna put
I,
it in.
I played enough for it to just keep it with it. Um, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty. I believe the first one around the first ones, it was there started off by you were fighting Nazis. Like Nazis were the first one that you started fighting against, I believe.
If we were saying for anything for a shooting game, let's shout out 007 James Bond GoldenEye.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I was trying to give Call of Duty its shout out. If anything, I'll say Modern Warfare 3 is probably the coolest one out of it. And Ice Cube did have a guest star in there.
He did, which was pretty cool. But yeah, like so, everybody always played. Like I said, we're definitely not giving enough love to the Nintendo 64 era when Mario came out. Mario and Mario Kart and them. We're definitely so we're definitely gonna speak on that.
That's how you lose friendships, right there.
Yeah. I mean, but we've definitely grown more to be more PlayStation fans versus even the whole Nintendo. But the Nintendo area definitely made way for everybody since Mario was the first 3D game to actually come out.
Was it that?
Yeah, Mario and Nintendo 64 was the first 3D. If I'm right, I could be wrong, but I know I'm right. Doesn't matter. The first game to come out like that.
Okay.
And like I said, to really revolutionize what games can be going forward.
Right.
You know, once again, Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm. Ocarina
of Time.
Sorry.
You know, definitely my game on my favorite game on the 64.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, everybody loves the whole Zelda franchise. That game right there was definitely
transcendent, shall we say?
Transcending.
Transcendent.
Well, I feel like it was transcending.
This is not a language podcast. This is a anime manga video podcast. We are not English teachers.
And we don't have to be. But GoldenEye, Zelda, Mario. Shout out to Nintendo 64.
Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem was cool.
Duke Nukem. Turok.
Turok was cool.
Especially if you knew the code, Oblivion is at hand. So if you ever go back and play it, make sure you put that code in. You have an unlimited life and you have all the guns plus a limited amount of ammo. You can easily run through the game.
You know what's the only boss I remember from Turok?
What?
Was when you're in that giant room that's all black and you're fighting that giant queen lady with the one eye.
I'm not gonna lie. That game was oddly weird.
It was.
Like even as a kid, I really was always a little itchy and scared of that game.
She would always hit you with her tentacles or whatever, but when you shot off her arms, she'd try to hit you with her stubs or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only boss I remember from that whole game.
Definitely weird. Definitely
yeah, that was creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah, for kids and you're playing Turok, hey man, unless you're special, the game is a little bit creepy.
Man, looking back on memory lane, all these games and manga and anime, it's pretty cool though. It's always good to just go back and just reminisce, if I'm gonna say that. And we can make this a whole 2-hour subject if we really wanted to, but nobody's gonna sit here for 2 hours though.
Yeah, there's some podcasts that are
maybe
about
one
2
day.
hours. Yeah, maybe one day.
What was that sound?
That sound was to grab your attention.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So, guys, we're gonna, shoot out what you guys should be, looking out for. Well, not necessarily looking out, our opinions of what you can be looking into, or recommendations of the week.
Oh.
So I'll go first. I kind of want to really hit this the nail on the head on this one and kind of reiterate it. Guys, please go out and watch Fairy Tail. I know it's not a manga. I really think people should go out and and what's crazy is I know a lot of people haven't seen it, and I'm just like, why? When it was really great. In my personal opinion, it was really great. Yes, it had problems. All animes have problems, but it was a lot of redeeming qualities.
I'll agree with him there. I'll agree with him as such, as it's kind of slow and I don't know what's the best word for it right now, but it's really hard to watch in the beginning, but as it progresses, it truly does get better, and especially when they hit this tournament arc, they introduced a new types of characters, and it just only
So that tournament
further.
art was really really far down the line. Especially after what was that after like the 7 year gap?
It was after.
Oh my gosh, that's really far. So so even before then,
Well,
they so
apparently
it
he
definitely
feels like it's better than before then, but okay, I'll go ahead and let him do this.
shut up.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So even before then, it does start off slow and goofy. Like it does like a lot of slapstick type of things, and that's where I was starting to lose interest. But even if you can hold on through there, it does get a lot better, just overall story wise. And I think like my whole only gripe about it would probably be, if not the beginning, is the whole power of friendship, and that's the thing that the main character Natsu Dragneo focuses on. And Fairy Tail kind of even starts off as Natsu trying to look for his dad, which you find out is a dragon. But the whole show kind of focuses around Natsu pulls into this girl named Lucy, they get like different missions from the guild or different quests from the guild that they go out and fulfill. And so from there, different things happen, and just it's like an adventure type of thing. And so, but yeah, that would be my recommendation, guys. Just go back and rewatch it. One is finished. It does have a lot of episodes, so it might seem daunting. Skip the fillers because the fillers really don't have nothing to do with it. Once again, and enjoy it because definitely later on, it really turns into a phenomenal anime and really cements why I say it should have been like one of the big three, like as in like the big four versus it just being a big three.
And I can totally agree with that. That's like it being a part of the big three slash big four. That's fair.
Yeah. Mm.
If Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach weren't what they were, it'd be the big three.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be in there.
All right. For my recommendation, I got Trigun. You're looking at me with the face. What is that for?
Trigun's definitely an old school one. Yeah. Um, Trigun. Definitely, man. I still never understood Trigun. I never understood the ending. There's just so much about it that I would probably have to go back and revisit. But go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So Trigun revolves around a man named Vash the Stampede, and he's basically followed around by a girl named Millie Strife, and Marilee Strife is actually her name. Marilee Strife and Millie Thompson, and they're basically following him around because Vash the Stampede has a bounty on his head.
How big of a bounty?
A $6 billion double dollar bounty.
I like what they call them. I like what they call their money, double dollars.
I don't know why is it double dollars, but
Why
hey.
is it not just dollars? Like, why is it double dollars?
But they're following.
Why
they're
double the money?
they're not following him around to collect the bounty. They're an insurance company to minimize the damage that he causes. And unfortunately, it's kind of unfortunate because he's not causing the damage. Pretty much everybody who's going after him to collect the bounty on him, there's the one who are causing all the damage that happens around him. And he ends up going around and he gets his, I would say, party members, I guess, when he also meets a priest named Nicholas D. Wolfwood.
Oh
And
yeah, the dude who had like a
giant cross.
It is a giant cross, but it wasn't like a minigun or something.
The cross itself was mainly carried all his guns.
Oh, okay.
And uh, basically what what Vash is basically he's just trying to roam the world and basically live his life for a minute there by not causing, like he's just trying to live, but everybody thinks he's this friggin' Machiavellian type of destruction fiend.
Yeah. So wasn't he actually looking for his brother or something during the whole anime?
Kind of.
Yeah. And then was crazy also, he didn't really kill nobody during this whole entire time.
No.
He only shot people with rubber bullets.
Ain't that funny?
And I never, and as a kid, that's when this really kind of came out. I never knew that. Here I'm thinking he actually killed people. No, he's actually shooting everybody with rubber bullets.
But he did get to a certain point where he does. I believe he does start using real bullets, but you only ever see him get truly serious in like very small moments.
Very, very small moments.
And it was mainly because he doesn't remember his past life. He has amnesia. So he doesn't really know who his brother is, other than like flashes that pop into his head, and then he kind of remembers him later. But towards the end, you end up finding out that Vash and his brother are both aliens. They're
Well, yeah. So I wouldn't say not aliens, but plants.
plants.
I mean, you can almost, well, depending on who you're talking to, they can almost say the same thing. But they're actually plants, but go on.
They're plants, but they kind of evolved, let's say, higher than the average human. So and by that I mean like they're just like wicked smart. They're knowledgeable, kind of like almost the world.
I would say like they're just powerful beings.
Right. And his brother, Vash's brother, ended up getting to a certain mindset where he was better than humans. He felt like humans are below him, beneath him, and that he didn't need to do whatever he could to help out the human race, rather than the human race should serve him. But Vash had a different opinion. He felt as some of the humans that he already met were his friends, and that he could coexist with them and just live happily ever after.
That's how he really was too, because he viewed everybody as like his family or like his cousins or some type of thing, and that's why he stuck to the whole no killing code
Mm-hmm.
on any and everybody. So I respected that once really seeing it versus having like the anime creator just like not kill anybody, because I that's one of my biggest gripes about maybe Luffy and Naruto. Like Naruto never killed nobody. Um, Luffy never killed nobody. Sasuke never killed nobody.
So I'm pretty sure Sasuke killed somebody.
Nope. Even in the well, we're not. He did not kill Itachi. So we're not gonna go there. I don't care what anybody says. Itachi was already dying, and if Itachi was at full health, he would immediately kill Sasuke when not even been a fight.
I looked at it as Itachi let Sasuke kill him.
Mm, he was already dying from a disease, or he was already dying. How am I gonna let you kill me if I was already dying?
Yeah, that's
Quicker
fair.
than usual.
But to roll it back a little bit, so Vash the Stampede is actually like if you see he's a gunsmith, or a guns not a gunsmith, but he uses guns in battle, and basically he's just like a beast when it comes to using the guns. Basically, he could solve any problem by using it, and you can. It's hard to explain because the dude is like something out of this world. You can try shooting him and try killing him, but it's weird because he dodges like everything.
He has a sixth sense for that.
There it is. He's just in, what's the word I'm looking for?
Oddly weird. Like you said, like he just dodges everything, gets out of every situation, makes fun and light of every situation. And I'm just like, God dang, dude. Like,
And he's also a womanizer.
not really.
A few women who he came up to, he was trying to get in where he fit in, and they would shoot him down. And he was like, "Oh, that's too bad. You got any food?"
See, that part I would understand. Like, hey, so what's that on your plate? Hey, I'm hungry. Please share.
Let me dabble in those morsels you got going on there.
Partake in your food. Partake.
But that's my recommendation is Trigun. And by the way, this is like an older anime. KV recommended an anime that's kind of was set in the 2010s era.
Before that,
2007.
2006, 2007 era, Fairy Tail. Yeah.
All right, and then my anime is kind of back in the 90s, I believe.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Trigun was definitely part of that early. Not I really don't want to say this, but like Tsunami era, like when, and that like that's just another way to say just like the '90s era.
Yeah. So, different animation styles, different type of art style, different type of even like dialogue style. So, if you ever look at an old anime, don't expect it to be anything like a newer anime. Like I didn't even mention Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star is a very old anime, and that is if you were to look at something like Naruto today and then look at Fist of the North Star, two totally different animes. They're both action shonen type of animes, but just different worlds.
Also, shout out to Gundam 2, which was also a big blaze through for a lot of different, especially for all the mech animes coming today too. Like Gundam, really, really was, gosh. Oh, also Zoids.
Hey, Zoids was cool.
I love Zoids particularly better than Gundam. Like the Animal, Liger, and all those guys were a lot better than.
Imagine if you're a Power Rangers, but the Megazord is not there, but you got to ride all the Megazords and just fighting them by like just singular.
Yeah, and so that's like I said, just riding like in the animal form of them was just cool. Like I love the Gundams, don't get me wrong, but the Zoids they just looked a lot cooler, personally for me.
That's probably one of the most early forms of CGI. Now that I just think about it off the style, like go back, look at it, and then you can tell that it's CGI at the time when they're in the Zoids.
Probably right. I definitely will go back and check. And on that, the episode's coming to a close, guys. Any more questions, comments, concerns, little brother?
None that come to mind at the moment.
I got like a little few. So first off, God of High School coming to Crunchyroll, guys. It's definitely a great manhwa. If you guys have not really heard or used the Webtoon app, I definitely recommend that you guys get into it.
I got a question. What's a manhwa?
A manhwa is just basically a manga that comes from Korea.
Oh.
So even I didn't know that a couple weeks ago. So, but you learn something new every day. Yeah, and thank you for Crunchyroll for picking up God of High School. It is once again definitely a great manhwa.
Thank you, Crunchyroll.
It's going to be a phenomenal anime, guys. It's going to be one of the best fighting animes in a long time. I'm claiming it. It's going to be phenomenal. Period.
Dudes are going to get boxed up in that anime.
Oh my god, yes. And then hopefully they're going to also bring it back for the second part of it too, where it even gets a lot more intense, and it's just.
It was actually supposed to come out this summer, wasn't it?
I think so, yes. And hopefully, I'm not sure if they pushed it back or anything. I'll have to get back on some details. But when it drops, yeah, go run it up.
What's that name again?
God of High School.
Look for it
on Crunchyroll. Also, my second part of review to Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Remake, after completely beating it. Now I understand why it was so linear. It was made to be that way. And so what I also have to kind of go back and re-understand, it's supposed to be 3 parts versus like the first part just being one whole game. You know, I had to kind of switch out from the mindset of it being like the finished product of like the whole entire game, and like also like, you know, not thinking it about like a Final Fantasy 16 type of thing. Like it's not the succession, it's a remake of something in the past. So it doesn't necessarily have that super big crazy open world where you're going out and fighting monster hunts towards the end of the game. Or like after you beat the game, you get to go out and do like the whole monster hunt type of bit.
Okay. Well, I actually acquired the game as of recently, so maybe on the next episode I can come back and give my little opinion about it too.
Oh, most definitely. Like I said, there's a lot of things in it that like I said, I still give it an 8 out of 10, a strong 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend, if you haven't played, definitely go and pick it up. The ending for the first part definitely blew my mind in some ways. The only thing I didn't like about the end is it was just a whole bunch of repeats of boss battles. It was back-to-back boss battles, and that right there was just annoying, personally. Other than that, I was like, you know what? It was a great game. Probably finished it around 46, 47 hours.
Okay.
I was doing most of the missions and other stuff. So definitely got to do a hard mode run on it now, since only some things are available in hard mode. And, you know, kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'll probably have to check that out. Probably this weekend, since, like I said, I got it myself.
Get on it.
And from here, I'm gonna go ahead and give my shout out. Thank you, my boy Edward. I'm not gonna say his last name because it's not only does it not to be said, but it's also impossible to say. There's a J, there's an I in there, there's a Q, a U, a Z. It's hard to say, but thank you, Ed.
Have every letter of the alphabet in there.
Practically. Thank you, Ed. He checked out. He's been checking out most of the episodes lately.
Ooh, shout him out. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
And on those on where he's been viewing that at is either he can view it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and on most podcast platforms.
All right. Also, once again, shout out to the brother Jerry for letting us use his place, since mine's got dogs and a whole bunch of other people at it. Man, it's a nice quiet place. We get to kind of really hang out over here. So thank you, Jerry.
Even though he wants to put his 2 cents into everything.
Every little thing.
We love you for it, though. We love you for it.
Yeah, definitely a whole bunch of love.
All right, what you got for me?
All right, yeah. So you guys, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything we can improve on, anything you want to say about the podcast, please hit us up at mavericks@gmail.com. mavereks@gmail.com.
Or you can hit us up at BBEMAV2020. That's BBEMAV2020.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the M.A.V. show.
That's another one down.
Man, all right, guys. We will see you next week.
Peace.